Okay, now this may seem like a bit of a jump, but I assure you we're not going into the specific details. But today we're going to try out objects in two-point perspective. Now, just from, actually, we covered this in your notes before, but quick refresher. It just has how one-point perspective requires you to have one vanishing point, where in every single vector extends out like so. There we go. Two-point uses, well, two vanishing points. Now, unlike one-point perspective, where the vanishing point really can go anywhere, and the formatting, I mean, all this could easily be done. Messy rectangle there, but you get the idea. All this could easily be done in a format like so. And you could still put the vanishing point anywhere and it would still work as one-point perspective. Two-point, on the other hand, is very much stuck in being panoramic. As in, it is wide-reaching. It's for wide shots. And if you try to put two-point perspective in a thinner format, you're going to find some very wonky perspective. Now, a key feature here is the use of vectors. Vectors still come out of the vanishing point. That does not change. The difference is that the vectors come out of both vanishing points. And what you want them to do is that you want them to intersect. These intersection points, then, are what help determine what things look like in that perspective. So we're going to make a couple of cubes. Now put one in the one-point perspective and one in the two-point perspective so you can understand how the change happens. So let's see. I will put my cube using these two vectors. One vertical, two verticals. Here's the bottom. Here's the top. And there are the horizontals. And just for the sake of argument, let's just put a little bit of shading over that. That is a cube in 1 point. Now in 2 point, what I have to do is that I have to find a place that where it intersects. So, I'm going to zoom in here. Right here. And right here. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to start on my vertical again, but this time it's not going to be the end of something, it's pretty much in the middle. Because once I have that vertical and I just follow these vectors, one over here, one over here, connect my edges. Mistake there. And there's a difference. I even use the same light source here. Now, the difference between 1 and 2 points in terms of how objects work really is just stretching things out. When you have 1 point, you are very stuck in that one position. You can only look down one way. For 2 point, you have to widen your vision to look down 2 separate ways. So, when I talked about in the assignment yesterday to look down your street, this is what you do to make a street. This is what you use to make a street corner. It's also used a lot with drawing cities, and don't panic, we're not going to get into cities just yet. Jury's still on it if we even go that far. Now here's the next bit. Once again, things will shrink as you get closer to the vanishing point. So that remains the same. But objects that are closer to the vanishing point are also more likely to start appearing as if they would in one point. So it's not just about getting smaller, the lines become a little more rigid. Everything else works as before. Anything below your horizon line, you'll be looking at the top of. Anything above the horizon line, you'll be seeing the bottom. Now, don't panic just yet about how this is going to work in the project. We will get to two-point perspective in terms of creating environments within the next, I want to say a couple weeks. I'd rather make sure that you have mastered one point before we move on that far. Now, with that said, let's talk about the format of your next test. Since I'd rather have a test to work out what you know than give you a project. So when you get your test, it's only about placing objects in two-point perspective. I will give you objects to place in perspective, and all you have to do is recreate them with whatever horizon line and vanishing point selection I give you. The test will primarily have one point. There will be at most just one two-point perspective question, and that'll probably be towards the end. The objects I give you will be fairly simple in design, so you don't have to worry about how this translates over here and such, and then we'll have a proper project once you get into environments, which will be next week. Now, with that said, it's a short lesson, but it's not really a lot to do. You can practice with this on your own time. I feel that you can find some good resources online, but in general, keep it simple. We'll worry about complicated later on.